e benvenuto. My name is Valentina Stella and I'm a native Italian tutor. And in today's video, we're going to learn how to correctly say you're right, you're wrong in Italian. So the problem with these expressions is that we cannot translate them literally from English to Italian. If you do so, you end up with something that's weird, doesn't make sense, or maybe say something completely different. And this happens with several expressions in Italian, but actually in any languages. Sometimes you cannot just translate literally. So even if you have a good vocabulary, a good pronunciation, a good grammar, you may still end up saying something that doesn't make sense in your target language. And that's completely normal and happens in all languages. And the reason why that happens is that languages are more than just grammar, pronunciation, and vocabulary. Those are very important, but languages are actually different ways to express a concept. So every language may have a different way to express the same concept, their own unique way, their own different way. That's what happens with these expressions. Now, my goal with these videos is to go over those tricky expressions, the ones that are most used, so that we can learn the correct way to say them, so that you are actually understood by native speakers, but also this way you can really sound like a native one, like a native Italian speaker. So let's learn two of them, which are how to correctly say you're right, you're wrong in Italian. But before we do that with some example sentences, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you're going to be notified whenever I post a new video to help you learn and improve your Italian. Okay, let's learn and practice how to say you're right, you're wrong correctly. So, as always with this series, we need to start with the wrong way. I want to show you the wrong way of translating this, so the literal translation, and how that ends up saying something that really doesn't make sense or say something different. So if you go for the way most students, most learners go, what would you do? You would translate you are, say, and then you will look up the word right on Google, and Google would say right is giusto. So you would end up with tu sei giusto. Well, that's not correct. Tu sei giusto, or just sei giusto, in Italian doesn't express the concept you want to express. When you say you are right, you want to express the concept that you think that what the person is saying is right, so that you kind of agree with what they're saying. Instead, if you say tu sei giusto in Italian, you're actually saying that the person is right for something. So you're saying something very different. You're giving a judgment on the person, not on the thing that they are saying. So see, you may want to say something, but you end up saying something else. That's why these expressions are tricky. But, this happens. And this happens because we express this specific concept differently. So what we literally say is, you have reason, not you're right. So if you want to express your concept you're right in Italian correctly, you need to actually literally say you have reason. Sounds weird? I know, because this works both ways. If we try to translate that literally from Italian to English, we would end up saying something weird. That's because English and Italian express that concept with a different phrasing. So let's learn the right phrasing for the Italian expression. So you're right in Italian is tu hai ragione, or just hai ragione. Repeat after me. Hai ragione. Hai ragione. So again, if you look at the Italian sentence, you are literally saying you have reason, but you are actually saying you are right. So this sentence expresses the same concept of agreeing with something, with what the other person is saying, of thinking that what the other person is saying is right. Tu hai ragione. Now, what if you want to say you are wrong? Let's go for the wrong translation, the wrong expression. If you translate this literally, you are say, and wrong, look it up on Google, that's sbagliato. So you would probably say tu sei sbagliato. So if you say tu sei sbagliato in Italian, you are not saying that that you think that what the other person is saying is not correct. You are actually saying that the person is wrong. You're actually judging the person, not the thing that they are saying. So you can see how this may end up sounding very rude or at least weird. So how do we say that? Well, we express this concept differently. We literally say you have fault, not you're wrong. I know it sounds weird in English, but that's how we actually phrase this same concept. So you're wrong in Italian, the correct way of saying that is tu hai torto, or just hai torto. Repeat after me. Hai torto. Hai torto. Ok, molto bene. So let's recap what we learned today. We saw that some expressions cannot be translated literally from English to Italian. So we need to learn the correct expressions that make you sound like a native Italian speaker and make you sound correct to native Italian speakers. So today we'll learn two of them. One is hai ragione and the other one is hai torto. And they mean you're right and you're wrong. That's the correct way of saying you're right and you're wrong in Italian. So as always, let's put this into practice as soon as possible. And one way to put this into practice is to reflect on what was your biggest takeaway from today's lesson. What was your biggest learning? Think about that, then write that down, because this way you tell your brain this is important, this is something you want to remember, this is something you want to focus on. After you write that down, share it with a friend who's learning Italian, or all your friends who are learning Italian. They say that teaching is the best way, or at least one of the best ways of learning something. So why don't you teach what you just learned to someone else? This way you will need to make it clear for yourself and they will also benefit from it. So send your biggest takeaway, your messages with your biggest takeaway to your friends, and also send them the link to this video so that they can practice this with us. Okay, that's all for today, guys. I hope you liked this video and found it helpful, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, have a great day. Buona giornata e a presto. Ciao da Valentina.